This season is going to be so weird because we have a brand new Datacron set that actually does nothing. It has no meaningful impact for any of the matchups you're going to see going forward just because of how overpowered the previous set is. And honestly, the new set is just pure trash. Honestly, pure trash. So this season is not going to be based off of any of the new Datacrons, pretty much all of the old ones. And we got to talk about the best 3v3 teams for the month of February. Got to check it out. What's going on, Knights of X? I hope you guys are doing well. We have been hit with a crazy snowstorm in New York. I have been MIA for the past couple days because I have been nonstop shoveling over a foot of snow. It is crazy. Your boy Vex is a little tired, but always ready for a GAC week. And we got to talk about the best 3v3 teams for the up-and-coming season. So if you guys are new here, we break it up into three separate categories: the best defensive teams, offensive teams, and a category called Flex, where we put teams that can be used on both offense and defense throughout the season. It's a very long season. You got to change it up a bit, so you're going to see some repeat characters in certain spots and selections, but this is going to be the best list that you guys are going to find out there for success in Grand Arena. Try to get the Kyber 1. This is where you need to go. So we're going to start out this video with the best defensive teams. That's what we're all here for. We want to know what's going to get those holds. So we're going to head into game really quick, and it's a brand new season. Datacron set is gone. We have a new one, not going to be as impactful. So if you guys went hard with the old Datacrons and utilized the mistake that CG gave us and have all those rerolls, I highly suggest you get these teams up and running, because now I am not just listing the team comp that you're going to want, but also the Datacron and the stats to go along with it, because we have unlimited rerolls. You guys still have time to get these teams up and running. So we're going to start with the first team on the list. It's going to be Pirate King Hondo Onaka with OG Hondo and SM33. And yes, this team is losing stock a little bit because they are losing the wordy Pirate Cron that we had in the previous set. That doesn't necessarily mean they're going to be bad. The support Cron is actually very nasty with Hondo and can do a lot of work. He's a support character. He's going to be removing your buffs. He's going to be giving himself tenacity up, and that protection up can be very annoying. You add OG Hondo into the mix because he can throw off a lot of those counters because of his captive. And if you don't deal with a Hondo early enough, you're going to be in a load of trouble. So I tried to go here with putting two support characters with an attacker. I just think if you put Pirate King Hondo with Vayne, he's going to be very easily opened up to the likes of Kylo or Malikos, a Vegito team possibly. So you got to really make sure, if you're going to set Hondo on defense, you got to set the right comp. And I think if you add OG Hondo to the mix, it's going to make him a stronger defensive character, and I want to utilize him more on defense than offense this season. They did nerf the Santa Rex cheese. I did not do any 3v3 testing, and I don't know if it's in the patch notes yet, but I don't believe that cheese is going to work in 3v3 regardless, even if it is fixed or not. I didn't do any 3v3 testing, but I'll have to figure that out. Maybe I'll do some testing in my first round. But regardless, if you're going to set Hondo on defense, I think OG Hondo is going to be your best bet. If you have SM33 available, he's a very good damage dealer, can cause a lot of issues. If you don't feel like using SM33, you could possibly use Silva with his Omicron. So I just want to throw that out there. Next up, we got to talk about Jabba. And yes, Jabba is getting hit with a good boost this set with the Bounty Hunter level 6. That's really going to benefit Leia. But the question is that going to impact matchups in 3v3? I don't think so. Like, if you're going to use Kenobi against Jabba, will that level 3 or level 6 shut him down? I don't think so. I think the support Cron is way more annoying. His ability to remove buffs, give protection up to his team, very annoying. If you're going to run him, support Cron 100% and loads of health, or tenacity. Didn't have a chance to write it down on the slide, but tenacity, if you have a high tenacious Chrysanthemum or a high tenacity Jabba team, could cause issues to get the plague early on. But I am not a Night Sister expert. They still will be able to get through some Jabba support Crons, but if you have the right stats, it could prevent the win rate. So that's why I like Jabba on defense. Very good defensive character. Now, next up, Lord Vader. And I got to talk about Lord Vader because he is definitely back on defense this season. He's a huge problem for many matchups, and I'm recommending him with Apo and CX2 100%. The Datacron I'm recommending is going to be an attacker Cron with as much protection as possible. You want your Lord Vader to be very tanky and hard to deal with. So there's not going to be many counters this season. Maz Kanata, definitely not picturing Maz Kanata getting wins this season, especially with the loss of the Pirate Cron. not many options. There's going to be a possible Leia, Bane. Bane is doing very well against Lord Vader, but if you get that crazy evasion from CX2, you could lose that matchup. So it is definitely iffy. So I think Lord Vader is going to be a huge staple on defense this season and a huge problem. If you guys don't have protection on a Datacron, go with some armor pen and crit damage, a combination of the both. For me personally, I'm going to be running protection because he's very good when he's tanky. So I do like him there. Now, we're going to talk about a pair, and this is going to be throughout the season. We're going to go back and forth and choose how you want to play matchups. The first team is going to be your best Ahsoka team you're going to set if you have a very fast team with a Terminator-Cron. It's going to be Ahsoka, Huyang, and Ezra Bridger Exile. Ahsoka without him is not much of a GL, but with the current Datacron set, she can hold on her own because of a certain Datacron level 6. But regardless, if you're going to run her with Ezra, I absolutely love using Huyang because he builds her ultimate charger, or her ultimate charge very fast. His Galaxy ability, Ultimate Galaxy, or whatever it's called, Galaxy of something, gives her ultimate really fast. Ezra can get his Exile really quickly with 50 stacks. A huge problem to deal with this season. If you're going to run Ahsoka with Ezra, it's a support cron with as much health as possible. You're practically that R2 stealth when you're using Leia against Ahsoka Tano. The stealth is getting removed because of the support cron. It leaves your Drogon open, and it can cause a lot of issues. So I'm thinking Ahsoka with Ezra will still be a very good team. But if you don't feel like using Ezra with your Ahsoka and you have plans for him elsewhere, throw in a Wat Tambor and Huyang as the third. It's going to force the tank tech on Ahsoka. You have to run a tank cron with the light side max health protection 3 or the Terminator level 3. Preferably the light side max health protection to give her some more stats. And make sure your Wat Tambor is modded fast, because if Wat outspeeds Bane, they both get bonus turns. But if Wat is faster than Bane, he gets priority with that bonus turn. And that will cause timeouts because of the level 6. She's going to be gaining incredible crit avoidance. If Bane cannot crit her on his specials, she's never going to go down. So, if you have a slow Wat, reconsider it to get him faster over a Bane. Not sure how it's going to be in 3v3, but in 5v5, it was a timeout risk, and I lost twice against a Ahsoka Wat Tambor that was faster than my Bane because of the timeout mechanic with the tanky level 6. So, make sure you get that cron, have both available for an Ahsoka team. Now, next up, a huge set of pairs. 3 different pairs for many different rosters. Obviously, you cannot go wrong with Rey, Ben, Ezra with an Attacker Cron. The Attacker Cron was nerfed, but that doesn't mean it's bad. I've tried going against Rey's with Queen Amidala, and she doesn't have any debuffs on her. She uses her Whirlwind, and she takes out Padawan Obi-Wan, even though the decoy is up. So, just because the Attacker Cron was nerfed, doesn't mean it's bad on Rey. There are many different options. So if you want to make a Super Rey team, Ben Solo and Ezra, the Attacker Cron will make him do a ton of damage. If she doesn't have any debuffs again and she has Whirlwind up, she can ignore taunt and snipe out a character. Very dangerous team not to take lightly. If you don't feel like using Ezra with your Rey, you can use Cal Kestis as a third. He's always a very annoying character with Rey because of that protection up, the extra health that he's giving the team. And his buff immunity and ability block turn is so annoying. I have lost so many matchups because I have timed that ability wrong, where it's a 2-turn of buff immunity and ability block. It's very obnoxious. So this is another great option for you. I think running an Attacker Cron with health is still very good. So another good option. Now, I'll probably be running this a ton this season. Barriss Rey with the Barriss level 9. Very good healer cron. There are openings to Terran Malagos being able to counter this, but it's not always a guarantee. It's not a 100% win rate. It still can cause issues. Make sure you have a lot of health in the cron. It's still risky for any Malagos team, but that is a great option for Barriss this season. Any of these 3 combinations of Rey are going to be really good for you, so keep these 3 teams in mind. Now, moving on to a defensive team. He is kind of open to a Balin squad in 3v3 and 5v5, but that doesn't mean Saw Gerrera is bad. If you're pulling a Balin, that's good for you. Practically, you want to have Luthen Rail and Kyle Katarn. I think the support cron is pretty good. You could also use an attacker cron, but pretty obnoxious when they're removing all your buffs. That could cause a lot of issues for you. I recommend either health and critical damage as a stat. think those are really good for this team because Kyle Katarn can hit pretty hard. The health is very good for making them tanky. And it scales offer protection up. So I do like Saul Guerrero on defense this season still. He's a great defensive team. Now this one's going to be a little bit of a fun one. And it's going to break up a couple teams. But I still think it's fun. And if you look at the win rates, it's a little iffy. There's nothing like really that's above 90% that's not a GL. So might not be a guarantee win. And I think it's going to be fun every now and then. It's going to be Rex lead with Nihilus and General Kenobi with Rex's Focus Datacron. I had a bunch of messages last season about how many players were having issues against this team. Rex, Nihilus, General Kenobi. You can't take it lightly. If you force a GL from your opponent, that's a win for you. Obviously, Traya is a very good team. You could break up a Traya squad into different options to play around with. So if you feel like breaking it up, you could. Not recommending it if you're on the lower end of Kyber 1, but if you're in the very end game, where you have many different teams and the map is, you have a huge roster where you can break up teams, this could be fun every now and then. I'm not going to recommend every match, but I think it's a good option to throw off your opponent. It's going to be tough to deal with. Very tough to deal with. Next up, Resistance with the HK47 Focus Datacron, which is all about Poe Dameron level 12, the Fear. Is this team unbeatable? Absolutely not. Is it still good? Yes. They could get a Terminator train going. If you have the Zori Omicron, it's even better because of the exposes. You have the good synergy from Finn and Poe. I still think it's a very, very good team, even though it's got a little bit of an open space for counters, but still good filler team, good use of the Datacron. Now, I have to admit it. I will admit it. I got hit in the face by this guy so hard last 3v3 season. He literally caused me to go 3-6. I had the worst season of my life because of Lord Vader and Master Mace. This guy was a huge problem for me because of the Attacker Con, and mostly because of Temple Guard with his Omicron. I think any other season you want to split up Mace, you put Mace, Depa Balaba, and Ayla Secura. This season, with the 3v3 and the Attacker Con, Temple Guard. Make a separate Keller and Beck team with your Jocasta Nu. This team is so freaking good. They hit like a truck. If you don't bring in the right counters, this could end you. He solely cost me a very brutal 3v3 season, and I will never forgive him for it. But regardless, if you have him, very, very good on defense. Requires a very strong team to take him out. But some players might use him on offense to take out certain Stranger and Starkiller squads. So we're going to have to see how that plays out. I still think he's very good on defense. Now, we're going to move into some more filler teams over here. Trench and Tuskens are more of the bottom of the barrel of good teams to use. Are they going to get holds? Maybe not. Will they force certain counters from your opponent? Possibly. So the reason why I'm including Dooku and Django here is because Wat Tambor is going to go with Ahsoka if possible. If you don't want to use Wat Tambor there, you can use Wat with your Sith Eternal. You could add Wat instead of Django. You could use the Dooku level 9. Dooku level 9 is still pretty strong. So I do want to include that on this list. And Tuskens, again, a filler team. If you don't have the right counters, they can shut you down. I'm going to recommend a support cron for the extra protection up on those hits. So can't go wrong there. Now, I'm going to talk about Kelleran Beck next, and I'm recommending an Attacker Cron with Jocasta Nu and Shock T. Put protection on the Cron because Jocasta Nu greatly benefits from protection, so that's a really good stat for her. Is it an unbeatable team? Absolutely not. If you add Shock T in there, it does cause a little bit of an issue. Not a bad option to do, but if you're feeling really, really spicy, like you want to, do something different, maybe throw in Barriss here if you have no plans for Barriss with your Rey. Not unbeatable again, but just to cause an annoyance for your own opponent. So, another decent team. Now, the only squad that I'm probably recommending from the new set with the new Datacron is going to be Forlom, Zuckuss, and Bosk with the Zuckuss level 9. The reason why I'm adding Bosk in here is to add a second tank. I kind of want to keep my other bounty hunters with other teams. I think Bosk is a very durable tank. Forlom does have potential ramping with his offense from the level 6. Zuckuss is going to be an annoying tank that's constantly giving foresight. So I think this is a pretty good option. I like the mass assist from Bosk as well. Having two tanks in here, this thing is a really fun option. So I'm going to put it on defense if I get the Zuckuss level 9. Going to move a little bit more quickly here. We got to talk about Tarkin with his clones. This team actually surprised me. With the support cron, they are obnoxious. Very, very strong and really difficult to deal with. You cannot take them lightly. Tarkin is a support. This guy's Clone Trooper is a support. recommending the support cron with them with critical damage. This guy's Clone Trooper can hit very hard, Scorch is a very annoying tank, and obviously Tarkin with his AoE can blow you up. So that's going to be a very good defensive team this season. And the last team I'm going to recommend for defense is a nice filler team. Is going to be Enoch with the Death Trooper units from Ahsoka's show. Night Trooper and Death Trooper Peridia, all very good characters. Putting an Datacron with this one with armor pen and critical damage. I've actually seen a Death Trooper Peridia on defense 3v3 hit for 180k on an AoE. So, not a team to take lightly. I don't think your typical CLS squad will be able to take it out unless you have a very powerful cron that's going to survive those hits. So, that is going to wrap up the defensive list. I know it takes a little bit more time than the other ones, but I have a lot to say, a lot to talk about. We're going to now move on to the best offensive list. Starting out with the offensive list, we got to talk about the team that I recommended on defense last season for 3v3. Boba Fett with his Focus Datacron and Zam and Dengar. Very good team. They can take out a lot. The only problem is that they can get Malgus soloed. We do not want that. We don't want our opponent to get 59 banners on us in Grand Arena. That is not efficient at all. So instead of placing him on defense to get soloed, let's use him on offense to get maximum banners against GLs. He could take out Jabba. He could take out a number of other squads offensively. Really tough team. It's a shame they can get soloed by Malgus because it's such a good Datacron with them, but he's going to go on offense for me this season strictly because of that reason. I don't want to get out efficiency on defense, and he's going to give me way more value on offense now. So now we're going to move on to the GLs, and this one's always a staple for offense. Leia, Attacker Cron with health and critical damage. She's your get me out of jail free card. She is so valuable, the best GL in the game. She could take out Rey, she could take out Lord Vader, she could take out Ahsoka, she could take out a number of different squads. She is so important and literally your best offensive tool besides Bane. Got to keep her on offense. Putting her on defense is a risk for you. Don't recommend it, but if you guys are crazy like that, go ahead. But always for me, going to be offense. That moves on to Supreme Leader Kylo Ren, and Kylo losing a little bit of his power spike because of the loss of the Special Forces TIE Pilot Cron and the wordy First Order 6. So, we've had a long couple of months of First Order dominating with the Dark Side Rey, Focus Datacron, and then the First Order wordy level 6 with the Special Forces 9. So their viability is going down a little bit, but that doesn't mean they're a bad team. I think they're going to be best suited for offense this season, taking out certain Ahsoka squads, taking out Pirate King Hondo Onaka even more easily because of the wordy Pirate Cron being gone. So it shouldn't be a problem. Just got to be cautious of Pirate King Hondo and OG Hondo with certain matchups. But I think Kylo's going to be very good on offense this season. And then these three are a no-brainer. Package deal. Sith Eternal Bane, super powerhouse of a team, going to take out most squads in 3v3. If you combine them, you're practically giving your opponent a win. You got to try to split these guys up. So if you guys are feeling really desperate, combine them. But highly recommend splitting them up into two pairs. Sith Eternal being a solo machine, and Bane with Sith Empire Trooper being another dynamic duo. No matter how you're using them, Attacker Cron with full-blown health stats. Always for them. Can't go wrong. If you want to put a little bit more critical damage and armor pen on the Bane Cron, fine, but health is your best suitable choice for them. Which leaves next, it's going to be JMK with a Attacker Datacron on offense with critical damage. I say this every single season. You can't place JMK on defense because of Balin. The introduction of Balin completely destroyed Kenobi's viability on defense, unfortunately, because he was one of the best GLs in the game at one point. But they kept releasing certain counters to take him off of defense, so your best bet is going to be Kenobi on offense to take out possible Jabbas, or even some Queen Amidala teams. We'll have to see, but definitely offense. That leaves to the next GL that is definitely in need of a lifter unit, JML. Going to recommend him with an Attacker Cron with high protection. You cannot go wrong with him with a high protection Cron. His coin ability is going to be nuking people. Hopefully, he could be taking out hopefully JML could be taking out Lord Vader if he has a Terminator Cron. It's not a guarantee, not by any means, but I still think he's not going to be viable on defense. He has way too many counters. Really good on offense. It could probably be used to take out Balin if you see him there. So that's another good option for him. And now we're going to move on a little bit to the team that's going to be very difficult this season to figure out. But if you want to maximize them to your, maximize these guys to your maximum value, Star Killer's got to go away. It just straight up does, because the Stranger without Star Killer is going to be absolute dog water, and I don't recommend it. So, Seer, Kylo Ren Unmasked, and Malicos, very, very good for offense. Malicos is your 100% damage dealer, nuking the team. Seer is your support character, facilitating damage immunity, the leadership, and just another one-shot ability on her second special. And Crew is your pre-taunt tank, which is going to help you against certain matchups. So this will help you against Revas. This will possibly help you against a number of other squads. But Star Killer's new home is the Stranger, unfortunately. So this is going to be your best offensive team. Next up, Bo-Katan Mandalore. Healer Kron, very good. Can't seem to get her to work against Lord Vader. It's a little too hard, especially in 3v3. But with it a Healer Kron, she's got even more capabilities of power. The locked heal immunity on the 6 is very good as well. So I'm really liking Bo with IG and Paz Vizsla in 3v3. It's a really good team. The only problem is the banners. Always bad because we don't have OG Bo's unique. Next up, Night Sisters. Support Kron, High Tenacity. This is going to be your specific Jabba killer. I'm going to try to get it to work this season. I probably got to bump up my relic levels for Talzin and Asajj Ventress. I'm a noob when it comes to the OG Night Sisters. I feel like I'm a god with the Great Mothers, but when it comes to the OG ones, I need a lot of practice. But I think they can still take out Jabba's. I think the Support Kron is your best bet. Make sure you have a lot of tenacity to resist certain thermals from Bausch Leia. That's going to be your Night Sister squad. Moving into a situational team, DTMG. Obviously not the best Grand Arena team in the world, but he's good at taking out a number of different squads. I used him to take out certain Afra squads. I used him to take out certain General Grievous squads. So you cannot go wrong with DTMG. Recommending a Tank Kron with critical damage as a stat, because your Scout Trooper can actually ramp up critical damage pretty high with his first special ability. So really solid team on offense, just not viable on defense. Next up, Gungans on offense, Attacker Datacron, critical damage. The problem with Gungans is they're really overpowered in 5v5. When it comes to 3v3, their viability definitely goes down. They're very easily beaten on defense, especially with the Trey squad. So I think that they could perform very well on offense with a Tarpals as a third. Just got to pick the right team. They could probably take out a Darth Revan Omicron with Zalbar pretty well, but a little situational. But I think their best bet's going to be offense. Same thing with Dr. Afra. Not going to be super viable on defense. Can be taken out by CLS a little too easily. So I think Afra with the 2 droids, with the Support Kron and critical damage and armor pen, would be a very good option for you. Probably take out a resistance team. Obviously, Afra is getting a lifter unit for, once this Coliseum era ends. But for now, that's going to be your best bet with the 3. Moving on to the next pair. Jedi Knight Revan with Cal Kestis and Bastila Shan Fallen. Solid team. This is my specific Ahsoka Watt counter. The problem is that the Tank Kron can definitely cause issues. So if you don't move fast, you're going to time out. Or if they have a lot of tenacity, you're done. But if you have a high potency Kron with this, I didn't have enough room to put it on here. Attacker with potency, you could do pretty well. But it's not going to be a guaranteed win, especially against Attacker Kron. But I have to include it on the list because it does have a possibility of pulling it off. And then the last team on offense I'm recommending is going to be Palpatine, Mara Jade, and Darth Vader with his Focus Datacron. Very good at, generating a lot of turn meter. You can take out certain squads with it. Not every single squad in the game, but I wanted to include it because the Darth Vader Kron is very, very strong. If you don't want to use Vader Kron here, you could use Vader with Bane instead of Sith Empire Trooper. I wanted to include that earlier. I forgot to include it. But Bane with Vader is a pretty cool duo because Vader cannot go down. So as long as Bane stays alive, you could cheese the heck out of certain battles. But in certain matchups, you kind of want your teammate to die. So it's not going to be useful in certain matchups. But I wanted to include that there. That's going to wrap up the offensive list. We're not going to move on to the final category, the flex. All right, time for the flex category. We're going to move a little bit faster here for this one. Got to talk about the newest Conquest character in the game. And honestly, very exciting character. I know a lot of players were underestimated by him or disappointed, but he is very, very good. Just got to set the right team. I'm going to put him in the flex category for now because my initial impression of him, I think he's extremely powerful. But with the playtesting on the test server, he was losing a lot in 3v3. But that was with no Datacrons attached, so it could be a fluke. But just in case you guys set him on defense and he gets walked over, I want to include him in the flex category. 2 separate options for you here. It's going to be Stranger, Star Killer, and Maul as your first option. That's going to be the clear. I want to make 2 separate teams, including Maul. if you want to go even more insane, talk about crazy overkill. Stranger, Starkiller, Malicos, super overpowered Vegito 2.0 version 2, whatever you call it, Datacron. If your opponent goes with like a Traya squad, right? And Nihilus gets his insta-kill, who does he choose who he wants to kill? That's got to be the hardest decision in the world. Do you insta-kill Stranger? Do you insta-kill Starkiller? Or do you insta-kill Malicos? They all have the potential to nuke you, so it could cause headaches for your opponent. Maybe they have to use a GL, maybe they have to use something else. I think this is going to cause some issues for your opponent. But if you decide to use them on offense, I think you're going to be taking out a serious number of squads. So get ready to see these guys on defense. I have to include him on the flex, though, just in case we find a particular counter where he gets walked over. I don't want players to get disappointed, but these two combinations, absolutely deadly. And this one is a repeat from the offensive list. I think I put it on the flex category just because, just in case you were feeling a little spicy with your Kylo in certain matchups, you could put him on defense. Someone's got to use either JML, JMK, Bane. Not too many particular counters to this, especially if you include Hux because of the anti-turn meter gain. So he really is meant to be in both offense and defense. I just put him on both lists, so that's my bad. But still, he's a very good team. And with Darkseid Ray, triple Omicron, super, super powerful. Next up, Maz Kanata, and I didn't put a tag here, but you're going to want to put a support cron. Support cron on this one, I'm recommending Quigold and Captain Ethano. I think the support cron is pretty good because you can give your team protection up, remove all the buffs on the enemy team. Unfortunately, I don't think Maz Kanata's use this season is going to be to take out Lord Vader. She's more going to be able to take out Malgus or Traya, Sith Eternal if you see him on defense by some crazy mad lads. That's going to be your best option for Maz Kanata. Other than that, I don't think she's going to take out Lord Vader. I just simply can't picture it. But regardless, offense and defense, very solid team. Queen Amidala. Can't go wrong with Queen Amidala, one of the best teams in this game. My current go-to for taking out Ray squads. And I think using her with the support cron with armor pen and critical damage is one of your best bets because her ability to remove buffs from a Ray team. So if she has critical hit immunity and you're running a support cron, you could remove all of those buffs when Queen takes a turn, which allows you to crit Ray and get rid of the Inspire. So I think it's invaluable, the support cron with her. Obviously, you got the Poncho Bros. It's one of the strongest teams in the game. Powerhouse on offense, but also a huge pain to deal with on defense. So you can't underestimate them. No matter what, in Kyber, Grand Arena, they're going to be used either way every single match. Next up, Balin's Skull. Very, very good. Offense, wipe out Kenobi from the floor. Take out any Ahsoka team that has a Fulcrum in it or a Snips. Can't take out a regular Ahsoka without those squads, but very good team. Strong on defense. Requires a very upper tier echelon team to take it out. Can't go wrong with it. How can we not talk about probably a top 5 team for me in this game? Great Mothers with an attacker cron and critical damage with Spirit. Spirit hits like a truck. She does not need any armor penetration. When she has Foresight, she ignores armor. So the armor pen is wasted, useless. Critical damage is going to be your best set or stat for this team. They can take out Ahsoka squads with no turn meter. They are so good at taking out other squads. And even on defense, if you underestimate them, you're in for a long night. So Great Mothers, I love them. Very good team. This one's going to be a little bit more of a filler. They're not as good in 3v3 as they are in 5v5. Bad Batch version 2, I will be throwing a support cron on them because of the Omega support lead. But again, their viability in 3v3 is not as good. The whole point about them is you want to try to push a stronger team from your opponent to try to take them out. If they underestimate it, they could time out possibly, especially with that protection up. So where I'll be using them, maybe they could take out certain squads on offense, but on defense, they're meant to just force a certain team from my opponent. Next up, General Skywalker with an attacker cron. This is a leftover General Skywalker team. You throw an ARC Trooper and Echo, they could take out Tuskens, they could take out another of other squads where you don't feel like using something crazy expensive, but you know it's going to be strong. The problem is the banners. It's going to end up being a 54 banner win, which could cost you in the end. That's the only downfall, but it is 3v3, so the efficiency might be a little bit less, but regardless, got to include General Skywalker. Next up, if you guys don't feel like using that Rex team I showcased in the beginning, you could use a Traya team with Nihilus and Savage with the Nihilus Focus Datacron. If your opponent does use Maz Kanata, Yes, it's going to able to take out Treya, but regardless, I think they're a very good team. Requires you to do a little bit higher thinking. If Moscanaut is on defense, you got to use either Sith Eternal or something a little bit more expensive. So you can't go wrong with Treya. Phenomenal team. Next up is going to be a triple pair. Triple pair, because I like to talk about it all the time. If you're going to set Malgus on defense, you could, because of the Datacron, Wordy Tank 6. They're both going to revive. Malgus and Malik. You got to get through them a total of 4 times. Throw in Darth Revan, you make a super team. The problem is Maz Kanata will walk over it. Some opponents will use Sith Eternal, and the revives won't even matter. So that's the issue with Malgus, but still a very good team, and probably one of the most important teams on offense this season, because he could take out so much. He could solo Boba Fett focus Datacron. Just remember that. If you guys are going to use Darth Revan with this team, throw in Bastila Shan Fallen. Same thing, Datacron with health stats. Now, this team, very, very solid, both on defense and offense. I'll be using a Datacron with critical damage. Armor Pen does not matter because Darth Revan is a special damage dealer. Armor Pen is for physical damage. If it was more resistance penetration, that'd be different, but it's not. So critical damage is going to be your friend. He's gaining all the crazy stats from Mission Vow, So keep this in mind. Good on offense, they can take out Great Mothers, and on defense, it makes your opponent have to think. And I have a Relic 10 Darth Revan, so maybe, we'll see. Qui-Gon Jinn Omicron. Have to include it. I know it's a very early game Omicron. Still very strong. Good, cheesable on offense. I've heard crazy stories of players tagging me and saying he's going to beat Starkiller Stranger on offense. We're going to have to test that out. So maybe on one of my alt accounts we'll do that. But wherever you are in Grand Arena, even on defense, if you have a very fast Terminator heavy team, you have a Terminatron, your Bad Batch is not going to walk over a Kiadi Mundi Anakin team. So still solid. Just got to be right with the counters. Almost at the finish line, a couple more teams. We got CLS Datacron with Armor Pen. Solid, nothing crazy. They're more of a filler team in Kyber. They could take out certain squads on offense if you want to cheese. I've seen a regular Starkiller squad get taken out by them. So if your opponent doesn't have Stranger, a regular CLS team can take it out. And on defense, if you underestimate this team, you're going to get a drop. So CLS still solid. We got a couple more. Almost done. 3 more teams. Reva, Flex, Healercron, 7th Sister. Very tough to deal with. If you don't bring in a team with anti-revive, they will come back. So that's why I think having like Seer, Crew, and Malicos to take out a Reva team is a very good option. 7th Sister is very annoying with her healing, her buff removal, her ability block, and the revive from the Wordy 6 and the heal immunity. Very annoying. Both good on offense and defense. Now we got to talk about Grievous. Grievous is going to get a boost because of the Droidcron, but I don't think it's going to be enough in 3v3. That's the problem. In 3v3, I don't see this shining. In 5v5, I definitely do. So, again, on defense, more of a filler squad. If on offense, you could figure out to do a type of cheese with the target lock on the level 6, you might be in for a little bit of a cool little theory craft cook, but we're going to have to see. I still think he's going to be a filler squad. And the last team I wanted to include, just in case you're not going to use your Maul with the Stranger Starkiller team, Mandalorians are pretty good at doing cleanups, good at taking out certain tricky squads. You're going to be, if you go on Swogo.gg, they could actually take out a number of squads you don't think they could take out. And on defense, makes your opponent have to think. So, very solid list. I think it's going to be very well for Grand Arena this season, and I'm looking forward to this meta, besides the new Kron set, because it is actually useless. So I want to know what you guys think about this list. What did I get right? What did I get wrong? What are you going to try out? And let me know if I missed anything. So guys, if you found this useful, you're going to use these counters or these teams in Grand Arena, let me know down below. And as always, hit a like on the video, subscribe to the channel for more content to support your boy Vex and to become a Knight of Vex. And I'll see you guys in the next one. May the Force be with you all.